What is up, guys? Welcome back. It is July 11th. I'm Kevin Crates. This is the channel where we go over a bit of crypto news followed by 5 charts every day. Today we'll be looking at Bitcoin, Ethereum, Sand, Mana, and SNX. And as always, guys, if you're just here for a specific chart, timestamps are down in the description below. Make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn the bell on for notifications every time I post a new video. The market is looking the way it's been looking for quite a few days now, guys. Bitcoin's still hanging around 34K. Ethereum still hanging around 2100. There is not much going on that has not been going on. However, we are going to be diving into NFTs more and more. I want to come over here and show you guys this. Mana is up 25% in the last 7 days. Engine up 14%. Axie Infinity up 100%. Flow is up 66%. If you're not familiar with Flow, here is Flow for you guys. Flow is a new blockchain built for the next generation of apps, games, and digital assets that power them. They got relations to CryptoKitties, Top Shots. There's a lot going on in the NFT space. And I've been the Sandbox is another one we're gonna be looking at today, and its chart looks unreal. 67% up in the last 7 days. All of this while Bitcoin has been struggling and dipping and the market has mostly been red. The NFT space is just booming. So we're going to be diving much deeper into that. So much so that I'm going to add a video series into this channel where we're just going to dive into one new blockchain game or NFT project, hopefully daily. And I'm going to be starting that later today. So if you're not subscribed, do subscribe and look forward to those videos. We have an article here today from Cointelegraph. Ethereum's 2.0 upgrades aren't the game changer that could bring more users. This article criticized Ethereum for most of its current problems, had some criticisms about proof of work versus proof of stake. It also touched on the fact that sharding will not be rolling out until 2022 for Ethereum, not to mention how long the London hard fork upgrades have taken. As far as all that goes, I don't feel this article touched on enough of the wheels in motion that are not Ethereum, but are Ethereum related, such as layer 2 solutions like Matic, Optimism, which is rolling out soon. I believe Seller is another layer 2 solution for Ethereum. It did touch on DeFi and NFT success. However, talking mostly about the lack of user-friendly interfaces as well as not enough educational tools for the average non-crypto user to jump into. This part here was interesting. Insider Intelligence reported that 25% of United States adults don't understand or know how to invest in digital currencies. And all I hear when I read that is that we are early, guys. As far as Ethereum goes, as far as cryptocurrency goes, we are still so early. And as far as its criticism stands about the average person being too perplexed by the UI and there not being enough educational resources for people to understand cryptocurrency and how to use these dApps, in my opinion, that is more of a statement about why the average person is not successful. There are unlimited resources for all educational purposes now. And if that is what they're claiming is the barrier to entry for cryptocurrency, Ethereum, DeFi, NFT projects, well, in my opinion, that is why some people are going to win and some people are going to be left behind. We have this article, Bitcoin and Ethereum in danger after shock China dump warning. It goes on to say former Bitcoin and Ethereum miners in China have been dumping GPUs, suggesting at least some of the decommissioned Chinese mining capacity won't return. Analysts have warned crypto prices are in danger. I just wanted to touch on this, guys, because I know that most people are going to read this stuff to you and refer to it as FUD. In my opinion, guys, this stuff is not FUD. Miners relocating is not FUD. Hash rates dropping is not FUD. Those things are reality, and they're going to take time to return back to normal. Not to mention all the other regulatory news being pushed down on cryptocurrency, as well as wherever they're going to go start mining is going to have its own regulations as far as how mining works, giving out licenses. There is a lot that is at play here, and it's going to take time to return back to normal. This was a fun article, how business schools are dealing with the rise in cryptocurrency. Over the past 5 years, digital finance has increasingly become part of business education. And it goes on to talk about different cryptocurrency courses in different schools, and that is all great for crypto. I mean, it's going to take time, but all of these things, especially stuff like this, are big moves in legitimizing cryptocurrency. We have ChainSwap in the news. Second ChainSwap exploit incurs $8 million in losses. ChainSwap had a hack yesterday that cost them around $8 million of various tokens, most of which were dumped on the market immediately. This is apparently the second time that this has happened. On July 2nd, they had a similar situation that cost around $800,000 in damages. So projects using the ChainSwap bridge protocol crashed around 99% yesterday, and I actually witnessed this live. I was looking at an NFT project that I'm going to be doing a video on later today. It is a Axie Infinity type competitor that I think has a lot of potential. It was around $1.50 when I wanted to purchase it, and while staring at the chart, within seconds it drops to 11 cents. That is when I quickly looked into what was going on and got my first word about the ChainSwap crash. But you can see here a lot of projects were affected. That same project that dropped to 11 cents is now trading around $2. Most of these projects, from what I understand, I don't know about all of them. I do know about a few of them. Bounced back pretty well, and there were some amazing buying opportunities. I was able to pick up some tokens for this project that I'm going to be doing a video on later today at an extremely cheap price. I did not pick it up right away. I think one person was able to pick it up at 11 cents and what is that? 20x their money overnight. So it was a very interesting scenario, and it is always why you should be watching the markets 24/7, because with crypto, I mean, things just happen fast. These last two headlines are about two of the charts we'll be looking at today, and two projects I have been very bullish on for a very long time. Walking Dead forming an NFT partnership with Sandbox, as well as Playboy releasing an art collection through Super Rare during the Decentraland Art Week. This is a much older article from about April. Top Chinese art university launches exhibition in Decentraland. The sky is the limit for the metaverses and what they bring for NFTs. And if it's not on your radar, I just wanted to kind of just touch on these headlines as well as this older one, just to give you guys a bit of background on the metaverse. If you guys have not looked into the metaverse, we will be diving much deeper into all NFT projects, including Sandbox and Decentraland, which are much more mainstream. But we are going to start diving into NFT projects and NFT play to earn games specifically in certain videos in the future. Taking a quick look at Bitcoin's daily chart, there is not much to be said. It is still moving in the way that we've been talking about. The RSI is now pushing to the top of this downtrend. It's probably going to hit here, move back down. If we look at the stochastic RSI, we see that it is low but curving bullish. And if we look at the 4 hour, it is high. If we look at the 1 hour, it is also high. So in all likelihood, we should see some more sideways action, but it might have some more downward pressure than just sideways. I wouldn't be too shocked to see a move like this downwards, so I wouldn't be too surprised if it comes down to 31K in the coming days. However, it's most likely going to continue in this channel until the daily charts RSI reaches this breaking point here, where either the uptrend or the downtrend will be confirmed by July 17th or July 18th. And looking at the Ichimoku cloud, we see a similar story. We talked about resistance around 34.2K, which it did run into, but it is starting to push above the conversion line, but it will run into resistance right around here, around 34.7K. But if we look at the 4 hour chart, we see a bit of a different story, that it is starting to put some pressure towards the Kumo cloud, which is not very thick. If it does manage to get above similar resistance, right? 34.5, we move that up a little bit, 34.7 right there. So if it manages to get above 34.7, build a support, it could move and try to push towards 35K, but those are quite heavy resistances on the way up. And as far as the daily is showing us, it is downward pressure. So my price targets are still low for Bitcoin for the time being. I would say 30K to 31K for now, but there is the possibility of a drop to 28K again. Looking at Ethereum's chart, there is also not much to say since it is tied into the progress of Bitcoin for now. My price targets are still low for Ethereum. On the daily chart, we see the stochastic RSI is high and dropping. If we come to the 4 hour, it is also high and pressing up against resistance. If we come to the 1 hour, it is also high. All of these indicate that today will be kind of sideways with more downward pressure than we've seen the last few days. So my price targets as far as the basic chart go still hang around the 200 EMA for Ethereum, which is just a little bit under 2,000. But if Bitcoin starts to really take a drop, the possibility of a drop to 1,700 is possible. And looking at Ethereum's Ichimoku cloud, we see all my notes from yesterday, which still stand, guys. This is mostly moving downwards. It's barely even pushing back up towards the conversion line. And if we look at the 4-hour chart, it's kind of a more interesting story. You see that the baseline is way up there, the conversion line is down here, and the lagging span is way over here. This looks more bearish at the moment for the short term than Bitcoin does. So my price targets as far as Ethereum goes are still around 1980 to start, but I would not be surprised to see it reach 1700 in the coming days. Looking at Sandbox's daily chart now, but we're going to jump straight to the Ichimoku cloud to start for Sandbox because I want to show you all something. This is Sand. Sand is probably the best looking chart we have seen thus far. I don't think I've seen anything other than Axie, but Axie is more of a new hot play versus Sandbox has been around a while and went through the May 19th crash with the rest of the crypto market. This, as far as I have seen so far, is the first thing I have seen push through the Kumo cloud and push through strongly, as well as start to build a base support around here, around 44, which is what it's trading at. This could keep pushing up. If you look here on the daily, the conversion line is there, the baseline is below, and the lagging span is way above here, not to mention that it is above the Kumo cloud. So we're going to take a quick look at the basic chart to try and figure out price targets. However, it's also important to keep in mind that some of this hype could just be something as mainstream as The Walking Dead. So in terms of price targets, I may not pull the trigger as quickly on 36, but I would look more for something around 31. But I would have to watch and see how it reacts to 36 because how insane this RSI is. So as far as price targets, I'll be watching 36 to see how it reacts as well as how the entire market is doing. But preferably, I'd be looking for something closer to the 200 EMA, which is around 31 to 25. Taking a look at Mana's daily chart now, but just like Sand, we're going to jump to its Ichimoku cloud because I want to show you all something. If you look here, Mana is also pushing into the Kumo cloud, which is not something we have seen too much of. As far as its momentum, it does not seem to have the same kind of momentum Sand did where it fired right through, which is so rare to see. I mean, if it manages to get on the other side, it is possible to get to $1, but we're seeing these long wicks. So it is possible that Mana is having some what we would call a sympathy play, where a similar project is, in this case, which is Sand, firing up, as well as Axie Infinity. And when you see something with like Axie and Sand fire off, you see all these other NFT plays have a bit of a spike, Engine, Mana. So what we could be seeing here at the moment with Mana is that it is having a bit of a sympathy pump. This may run out, and I would look for targets around 68 potentially, but I own quite a bit of Mana, so I'm actually looking at lower targets personally. However, if we look at the 4-hour chart for Mana, sorry about all these lines, guys, let me just get that out of the way. We do see a very bullish setup. We see that the conversion line is above the baseline and the lagging span is back here. So Mana does still have room to pump. However, we have to look at the stochastic RSI. It is low and dipping a little bit lower, but it will run into support here. So it may trade sideways or it may get a bullish bounce. But if we come back to the daily chart, the stochastic RSI is sky high. So we could see a bit of a pullback. So if it manages to push through, $1 is possible for a Mana. But my price targets would be, at this point, I would look for a pullback to 60 minimum. But let's just jump over to the basic chart. If we look at Mana on the daily, we see the 200 EMA is around 65. Now this kind of depends on how much Sand ends up pumping, or if there is a pullback, or what happens with Bitcoin. But as far as targets go, I would look for Mana to hopefully pull back down to around 59 or below. Some of these wicks off the May 19th crash were a little bit below 50. Personally, my targets for Mana are 59 to about 50 to potentially anything around 40 to 37. But if Mana attempts to push back up and reclaim 85, if it passes above 85, 86, as we saw with the Ichimoku cloud, it could make a clean break for above $1. So these are all price targets for Mana to just keep in mind that if it gets above 85, 86, there is a possibility for a push to $1. But on the event of a pullback or a crash, I'm looking for a pullback to 59. But personally, I would want to get it closer to about 50, possibly even 40 cents. Taking a look at SNX's daily chart for the second day in a row, we will probably be watching SNX every day, to be honest, because this is what, as I said yesterday, this has potential, and it is up another close to 14% today. And we can see here that it's pushing towards the 200 EMA on the daily. The RSI is an uptrend zone and it wants to keep pushing up. The stochastic RSI pulled back a bit, but it's going to keep going. And if it can build support above 1218, possibly even push towards 13, I would not be surprised to see SNX hit some of these higher targets leading up to the July 26th date where it goes live on Ethereum's optimism. Even 18 is possible if it gets above this 200 EMA. And I just wanted to show you guys the Ichimoku cloud as well. And looking at the Ichimoku cloud, I'm just going to hide these price targets here. As you can see, we talked about this yesterday. SNX has pushed right through, and it's got potential to continue to push right through, just like Sand did. If it manages to build support around this 15-16, if it does punch through, these higher price targets are very possible, and even higher considering that this is DeFi, this is Ethereum, this is SNX. There's a lot of things going for this, and that is why we're going to be keeping a close eye on Sand pretty much every day. If this was a more bullish market, I would jump in now, but I'm hoping to see some kind of pullback to this range here. Let me just grab the price target there. I would like to see it pull back somewhere below $10 where I would look to dollar cost average. Let's just look at the other chart real quick. Just looking at SNX's daily chart here, we can see a lot of bullish momentum, but it is capped off by the 200 EMA here. But if it does manage to get above 12.8 to 13.1, these higher price targets of 18 to 29 are possible for synthetics. If it wasn't for the looming pressure of a potential Bitcoin drop in the coming days, I would just hop in now. But we can look for a pullback around 11.4 where I may start to dollar cost average, but I'm preferably looking for something around $10 to $9 in this range. That may not happen, and we're going to keep a very close eye on this on here and on Twitter. If there is a big enough crash with Bitcoin, these lower price targets will be scooped up by me immediately. But for the time being, we're just going to keep an extremely close eye on synthetics because there is a lot of bullish momentum behind this play, and these higher price targets are more than likely to be hit in the coming weeks. So we're going to be checking in on SNX daily here. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out. If you're new here, please do remember to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and leave a comment down below about how you feel about the content so far. I appreciate any suggestions and anything you guys ever shout out. If you guys want me to look up any charts, feel free to leave that in the comments down below. If you're not following me on Twitter, KevinCrates_, extremely active on there. We post all the same kind of charts that we talk about here. And I'm going to start posting a second video series on this channel where we will just be focusing on NFT play to earn and NFT games. So you guys can look forward to that as well. I appreciate you guys. I hope you guys have a great day. I'm out.